I'm 31 and my name is Lillian. I've got a stable job, a little house that I worked hard for, and a pretty simple life. If you asked my mother, though, she'd say I'm the less successful daughter. That title has always belonged to my older sister, Vanessa, 34, married to a well-off man, a stay-at-home mom to her daughter, Emma. She's the golden child, the one who did everything right. I was the one who didn't settle down early, didn't have kids, and apparently didn't give my parents anything to brag about. For years, I watched my family put Vanessa on a pedestal, acting like she was living the perfect life while I was just there. I never said anything about it, because honestly, I didn't care much. Let them have their little fantasy. But deep down, I always had this uneasy feeling about Vanessa's family. Her daughter, Emma, is 6. She's always been quiet, too quiet for a kid her age. At family gatherings, she'd cling to her stuffed bunny like it was the only thing keeping her together. She never really talked unless spoken to, and even then, she spoke in short, careful sentences. I noticed she was always small for her age, a little too thin. Whenever I asked Vanessa about it, she'd brush it off. She's a picky eater. She's just shy. I never pushed because, again, I was the less experienced one, the one who didn't understand what it was like to be a mother. So I stayed in my lane until the day CPS called me. I remember exactly where I was. It was a regular Tuesday, and I was in the middle of a work meeting when my phone buzzed. I ignored it at first, but when I saw the voicemail notification, I felt this strange pit in my stomach. The message was short. A caseworker introduced herself, said my name was listed as an emergency contact for Emma, and asked me to call back immediately. I don't think I've ever dialed a number so fast in my life. The caseworker was calm but firm. Emma had been removed from Vanessa's care due to neglect. They couldn't give me full details over the phone, but they needed me to come to the office as soon as possible. I don't even remember the drive there. My heart was pounding the whole time. When I walked into the CPS office, I spotted Emma right away. She was sitting in a chair, hugging that same stuffed bunny, staring at the floor. Her little hands were gripping the fabric so tight that her knuckles were white. She looked exhausted. Her face was pale, her hair messy, and her clothes were too thin for the weather outside. I crouched down in front of her, trying to smile even though my chest felt like it was about to cave in. "Hey, sweetheart," I said softly. She didn't say anything, but her eyes flickered up to mine for just a second before she looked down again. The caseworker pulled me aside and explained what little she could. There had been reports of neglect for a while. Neighbors had noticed Emma looking malnourished, wearing dirty clothes, and being left alone for long periods. Finally, someone made a call that stuck, and when CPS arrived, the situation was bad enough that they removed her immediately. I felt sick. I always had a gut feeling that something was wrong, but I never imagined it was this bad. And now I was standing there looking at this little girl who had nobody else. Then my phone rang. Vanessa. I stepped outside to take the call, and the moment I answered, she was hysterical. "This is all a mistake. You have to tell them. You have to give her back to me, Lillian. You know I would never hurt my daughter." I barely got a word in. Ow. She kept going, crying, swearing that this was all some kind of misunderstanding, that the caseworker had a personal vendetta against her, that Emma was just going through a phase. Then her voice changed. "If you don't give her back, I will never forgive you," she hissed. That's when I hung up. I went back inside, looked at Emma, and made my decision. I told the caseworker I would take her. The next few weeks were a blur. I was granted emergency temporary custody while the legal process played out. The investigation was ongoing, and I knew it would take time before any permanent decision was made. Emma was quiet at first, barely speaking above a whisper. She wouldn't eat much, and she flinched every time I